Hi, isolation. That's the topic of this video. There are health risks to isolation. Increased stress hormones and inflammation. Higher risk of coronary artery disease. Stroke. Reduced thinking skills. Higher risk of dying early. Increased risk of losing the ability to do day-to-day tasks. And loneliness, which is associated with isolation, can lead to depression, which is associated with health problems as well. Low self-esteem, dementia, and say diabetes, chronic illnesses. And in extreme isolation cases, insomnia and hallucinations and death. So it bears thinking about and avoiding. Now, you may have chronic health issues. You may feel like you don't fit in. You may be shy in school. You may work at home alone. All of these categories, if you fit into any of those categories, you have the chance to be isolated. You're not out and about as much, possibly. Okay. So, let's talk a little bit about what social isolation is, first of all. The absence of social relationships. You avoid social interactions because you're depressed or you feel ashamed about something. You spend a lot of time alone, You get anxious about upcoming social interaction. You have limited social and professional contacts. You lack important social and professional relationships. Emotional isolation. When you're unable or unwilling to share your emotions with others. You stick to the surface stuff. You don't go deep. You feel numb and blah. You can get emotionally isolated from social isolation. Or you can have a social network, but still feel emotionally isolated. Say you are hanging out with people who just don't get you, or you don't get them. That can cause isolation. You can be surrounded by people and still feel isolated because they don't get you and you don't get them. You can't go deep with them. You can't really, everything's really on the surface. It's not a strong, vibrant, fulfilling relationship. And you can also get this with your spouse. If your spouse is distant or doesn't support you, you don't have a close emotional bond. Maybe it's from abuse or betrayal, a an affair. You might get emotionally detached in that way. Okay, now there is a difference between solitude, isolation, and loneliness. They're all a little bit different. Solitude is being alone. And as an introvert, I love being alone. But I also have my social contacts. So I'm not alone all the time, but I do enjoy my alone time. It helps me recharge. Isolation is the lack of social relationships and emotional support. Loneliness is craving social contact. You crave it and you're sad and empty because you don't have it. And like I said, you can feel lonely in a group of people, a room full of people, if they're not your type of people. If you don't relate to them, if you don't jive with them, if you don't bond with them, and they don't get you, you don't get them, you could still feel isolated. You could still feel lonely in a group of people. Okay, now social media. There's been a lot of talk about whether social media is really really important, really the same as being in person with someone and have personal relationship with somebody right there, face to face. It just depends on who you are and what your need is and what makes you feel fulfilled. You could be the type of person who, get online and you find all these sites and all these groups of people that are just like you. And you can't seem to find them locally. So you go online and you're like, wow, this is awesome. And you really get charged up about that. You really get recharged. You really get enthusiastic, and it really perks you up. Nothing bad about that. You found your tribe, as they say. You found the group of people, or even an individual person on there that can really speak to you, and you really understand them and they understand you. It's when you replace in-person contact with social contact online, the virtual contact. Because you don't get that touch. You don't get that in-person, that eye contact. Well, you could go by Skype. You could be talking to someone on Skype or Zoom or anything of that sort. And you can get the eye contact that way. So that's a little better. It makes it more personal than just texting or emailing. Or in a group, you're messaging back and forth. But still, some people are feeling online that it's not really quite the same, and they're missing something. Okay, maybe that's you too. You feel like, I've got these friends online, but it doesn't really feel right. It doesn't feel complete. It doesn't fulfill you. And that's a sign that maybe you do need some in-person contact. But there's other people who they prefer one or the other. And that's okay if it fulfills you. If you feel like it's getting to be maybe just a habit or something that you're addicted to, or that that you're not going out there and actually looking for people. You just rely on the people online, and you're afraid to go out into the public to meet up with people there, then then take a look at it and see where it's coming from, where your motives are, and what you're getting out of the social situation versus the in-person situation, and where those motives are. Where is it coming from? How does it feel? And if it feels off, then look at that and go out and try to find some people in real life. Well, they're alive too online, but in your own community. See if you can find some people in person, and see if that makes a difference. Maybe that's something you're missing. And you gotta listen to yourself. Listen to what your gut is telling you. Okay, and so let's see the things that you can do to reduce or avoid this loneliness and isolation. Okay, imagination. This is what I did when I was growing up, and I still use it somewhat, not as much as I used to, but imagination. Go into your imagination. Imagine these friendships that you want to make. Imagine conversations, these tough conversations that you have to have with your parents or with your boss or with a doctor, anybody. And so they're easier out there. When you get in those actual situations, it makes it easier. Builds up your confidence to do the stuff in your imagination first. And then once you get your confidence built up, okay, you still have to believe in yourself. You might be like, okay, yeah, all right, I can do this in my imagination. So the belief comes in. That's part of my DIBA. Dream, imagine, believe, achieve. Okay, belief. You have to believe in yourself in order for you to get out there and do it in person. And that's what you want to do. You want to get out there and get in person to break that isolation, to cut that isolation off at the pass and meet new people. So believe in yourself and get out there, make a plan, take action to actually get out there and make friends and make connections. All right, so you can do face-to-face, you can do FaceTime, you can do Skype, all those things, phone, texting, like we were talking about. Do them daily with a variety of people. And join online support groups, like I mentioned before, I believe is one of the things. Okay, now that could be for teens, chronic health issues, anybody actually, online support group for whatever you're going through. Also for chronic health issues, if you lack rides or your transportation is kind of dicey, see about ride programs, local ride programs in your area. And join clubs and faith-based organizations, community organizations. And let's see, what else? Get a pet. Search out local visitor services, like visitor programs. Maybe you're lonely and you don't have anybody around, family or friends around. See if you can get into a program where people visit you. Maybe you'll get connected that way with that person, or through that person, you'll get connected to others. All right, and make yourself go out and socialize, even for a little bit. Go out and walk in the park. Go out to a local concert or a local craft fair or anything that you're interested in, or a a talk that somebody's giving at the university or something like that. Or a business. Maybe there's a business seminar going on. Go to that. It gets you out there with people. And there's really, for anybody, you could really first recognize, this is something that I think is really important, recognize your feelings, what you really feel inside. And that'll help you to decide what you really need. And positive self-talk is another thing that you could do. Anybody can do that. And smile and say hi. That's the first thing that you can do. It's so basic. And yes, it can be hard, but start with that and see where it goes. And ditch the people in your life who are not in your corner, that you don't feel connected to. Or just put them in the back, in the background, and try to find others who really speak to you more. And another thing is, if you could go to the gym, you could join a gym. You could, if you're in business, you could rent a desk at a co-working space. Other people will be there working. You could maybe meet somebody to network with. And you can meet others in your same area of work, your same industry, for coffee or networking session. And maybe work at a cafe, so you're not just isolated in your own office at home. This is for mostly people who work for themselves. And let's see. And for chronic health issues, support groups is connected to your health issue, either online or off. And each week, try something new in the community. This could be for anybody that helps you meet people. New class, a new club, go to a seminar, like I said. Anything in the community, volunteer. And help out a stranger. Just somebody has an armful of groceries, or they can't get across the street. They can't get, the elevator won't work or something. Try to help them. I mean, maybe you can't, but you're offering. Can I help you? That's all you'd have to say. If they don't want to help, they don't want to help. But you can ask. And maybe something on a high shelf in a grocery store. You could get it down for them. And find a way to share your skills with others. How to use a computer or a phone, or help a neighbor with their taxes or something. Motivate others. Communicate your needs with people. That's a big thing. Communication, please. If you have problems, if you are lonely, if you feel isolated, reach out to your family and friends and others that care about you. They want to help. And let them help. And listen. This is something that you can do to other people, for other people, to help you feel better. And also others out there. If you have somebody in your life that you feel is isolating themselves, listen to them. Lend them an ear. And give compliments to that person who's isolated. And also, if you are isolated, you're feeling isolated, get out there and show somebody share a compliment with someone. Tell someone they look good today, or you like their car, or whatever. And don't do it in a creepy way, but just an offhanded comment but a real one. Be authentic. And maybe that'll spark a friendship, or at least get you used to talking to people in public. And if that doesn't work, seek therapy. There's therapists out there who can help you. Take advantage of that. Because you need maybe your time alone. But if it's excessive, you need help. Because socializing can really help you feel good. You don't want to feel like you're not able to get out and enjoy things. Enjoy your life. Seek help and get that help that you need to enjoy it more. You take care, and I will catch you again next week for another YouTube video. And if you comment below, I'd love it. If you have any questions, comments, go to it. Or you can email me at amy@acnlifecoach.com. Take care. Bye-bye.